ever since man put fire to use, he's had to devise ways to control it. The procedures became more elaborate as villages developed into towns and towns grew of a metropolitan fire department in action. A pictorial account of how it aids the stricken, trains and cares for its men, and keeps watch over a great city. Tonight we bring you the story of the Detroit Fire Department in action. Here's an example. This is Squad 1, one of the units located at fire headquarters downtown. A call has just been received. A man is believed to have suffered a heart attack. The squad is on its way. 5 men are on their way to help. This is the first of several actual runs we'll show you during the course of our program this evening. The squad has arrived. The patient is given oxygen. The squad offers to transport the patient to the hospital. He agrees. During the trip back to the hospital, more of the first aid equipment aboard the squad rig is utilized. We've now arrived at receiving hospital. The patient is brought to the admitting room, where doctors at the hospital take over. One example of the Detroit Fire Department in action. The Detroit Fire Department has a proud and colorful history. Its roots were planted in volunteer organizations as early as the year 1777. This fire watchtower was located a century later on the site now occupied by Cobo Hall. Horses were used to pull fire engines and answer to alarms in those days, later to be replaced by the steam engine. This was Detroit's first propelled vehicle. The horses made their last run down Woodward, April 10th, 1922. And a trophy still coveted by the Detroit Fire Department is a silver megaphone. It was presented to the Detroit Fire Brigade by Windsor in 1849. The Detroiters had crossed the river during a storm to aid the Canadians in their battle of a disastrous blaze. But what of the Detroit Fire Department today? This is department headquarters, located on West Larned at Washington Boulevard, a stone's throw from Cobo Hall, and across the street from where construction of the new Pontchartrain Hotel is underway. The governing body of the department is the Board of Fire Commissioners, appointed by the mayor. The members meet weekly, and their pay is measured in community service instead of dollars. Commissioners are Paxton Mendelson, Oscar C. Nelson, Robert Adell, and Lawrence Nagel. The secretary of the board, appointed by the commission, is Ralph Bud Quinn. A full-time executive, he's responsible for the administration of the department and liaison with other branches of city government. The department's operating head is Chief Glenn Thom. All phases of department activity come under his control. Chief Thom is in his 35th year with the department. He was named chief last November. His deputy is Charles Quinlan. Deputy Chief Quinlan also heads the department's firefighting division. There are approximately 1,700 trained firemen in the Detroit department, and we emphasize the word trained, located at Warren and Lawton on the city's near west side. Once a man has made application to the fire department and has passed his civil service and fire department physical and written examinations, he may be accepted as a trial firefighter. He's enrolled in a training class at the academy. Upon completion of a 2-month course, he will be assigned to an engine or ladder company for a 4-month probationary period. Academy training includes first aid. Captain Donald Phipps demonstrates mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. The trial firefighters are taught the location of the main arteries of the body and how to stop bleeding. The training academy is operated under the direction of Chief Arthur Apple. An important training exercise is scaling a 6-story wall with palm pier ladders. This is done by the numbers with military precision. This type ladder is not used in actual firefighting, but the training exercise is valuable in building up confidence and agility and operating on ladders at great height. During the training program, this exercise is prescribed almost daily. 1, 2, or 4-man teams participate. One man can scale the wall by resetting the ladder above him as he stands on a window ledge. And what goes up must come down. An instructor explains how this is done. The equipment includes a rope, special gloves, and a special belt. And here's how it works. That was a free fall. The other man, on his way down, is walking the wall. But there is a faster way down if one is not quite so high, and if there is a net held by 8 men below. Firemen emphasize that if you should ever find it necessary to jump into such a net, try to land in a sitting position or on your back, and try to hit the bullseye. Also, make sure the firemen below are ready. Not all trained firemen travel to alarms. There's other important work to be done. A wide variety of duty comes under the supervision of the Fire Marshal's office. The Detroit Fire Marshal is Bernard DeCoster. The Assistant Fire Marshal is George Lambert. The Fire Marshal's office issues permits which bring in some $200,000 a year in revenue. Information on insurance losses is recorded here. The Arson Squad is part of the Fire Marshal's division. The squad is headed by John Quincy Adams, who carries the title Chief Fire Investigator. There are 12 men on Detroit's Arson Squad. The squad investigates all fires of a half-hour or more duration, all fires of undetermined origin, all fires that cause serious injury or take a life, and all fires in hotels, motels, and rooming houses caused by careless smoking. These pictures are from the fire earlier this year in the Garfield Hotel at Garfield and John R. in Midtown Detroit. 2 persons lost their lives in this blaze. Visiting the ruins are 2 members of the Arson Squad, Lieutenant William O'Brien and Captain Larry Amprum. In this fire, cause must be determined. Other investigations must take place because of the deaths which occurred. The Arson Squad members are the detectives of the fire department. And working closely with the Arson Squad and other sections of the fire department is the Fire Department Scientific Laboratory. Robert Cyril Lyons is the senior chemist in charge. Lieutenant O'Brien of the Arson Squad brings in samples found in fire ruins to be tested. In addition to testing fire debris, the lab analyzes liquids brought in by fire inspectors. The purpose is to make sure their composition adheres to fire department code. In case of a fire death, a routine check is made of materials found near the body. These tests can determine if flammable liquids or any accelerant has been used to spread the blaze. This is a routine check for possible homicide. Many of the lab techniques and tests developed in this laboratory are used by fire departments throughout the world. Another part of the Fire Marshal's division is concerned with architectural plans. Marvin White, Senior Assistant Architectural Engineer, checks a set of blueprints. Department approval is needed for any place of public assembly, any place where flammable liquids are used. And plans must be submitted for approval of all firefighting equipment permanently installed, such as sprinkler systems and standpipes. And there are daily on-the-scene inspections. 38 field inspectors gather in an office every morning and evening. During the day, they visit buildings throughout the city to make sure all fire regulations are being followed. Inspectors make routine checks and also investigate complaints that have been received by the department. A well-informed citizenry is important to fire prevention. The information is disseminated through the Public Relations Office headed by Captain Fred Beer. With him is Inspector Joseph Boland. The photo lab plays a significant role in the operation of the fire department. Inspector Joseph Mancinelli is in charge of the lab. Fire department pictures prove valuable in recording the progress of major fires. The pictures are used in training and in subsequent investigations. The Detroit Fire Department has its own medical division. 3 doctors are assigned to it. Each morning, they are available to treat firemen who are ill or have been injured. A complete medical history of each fireman is kept on file. Physicians respond to all multiple alarms. They also give periodic examinations to all firemen. The fire department's equipment also must be kept in good repair. This is Engine 6 and Ladder 5 at Russell and Erskine. It's the newest fire station in the city and is part of a square block complex which houses the apparatus division. It is here where reserve units are stored and all equipment is serviced. All fire department equipment comes here for routine maintenance. Damaged equipment is repaired here. Chief Earl Smith in charge and his assistant Captain Melvin Mills check repairs on an engine recently damaged by a falling wall. Every fire engine in the city stops by this booth periodically to make sure its water pumping capacity is satisfactory. The fire department maintains a complete machine shop, including an entire engine rebuilding facility. There are adjoining paint and carpenter shops. Electrical equipment, including sirens, are tested. Fire hoses put under high pressure. Damaged hose is repaired. All fire hose in the department is tested every year. This facility at Russell and Erskine serves as a warehouse for all other supplies for the department: clothing, boots, tires, housekeeping supplies for the firehouses. It's the fire department's quartermaster division. The availability of water is essential in battling fires. And this is Chief Edwin Shefferly, who's in charge of the department's water supply division. All hydrants come under his control. He responds to all multiple alarms, and his understanding of the water system in every section of the city makes it possible for him to direct firemen at the scene in ways to make the best use of the available water supply. The fire department is deeply involved in Detroit's civil defense plans. The department operates and maintains the air raid warning system. At local civil defense headquarters in Palmer Park, Chief Edward Penzick instructs a class of trial firefighters in the use of equipment which measures radioactivity. Specialized fire department monitoring teams have been trained to check radioactive contamination. Between the rear of Receiving Hospital and the Chrysler Freeway, now under construction, stands a building which houses the nerve center of the Detroit Fire Department. It is here where all fire alarms, pulled boxes, or phone calls are received. Curved walls of the building are lined with equipment which instantaneously receives and records the circuit on which a fire alarm is received. There are 4,105 fire alarm boxes in the city on 130 circuits. Marvin Neifert is the supervising fire dispatcher. He's been with the department for nearly 30 years. Now we will show you what happens here when an alarm is received. First from an alarm box, then from a phone call. Most action, although shown in sequence, actually takes place simultaneously. This rack shows a few of the fire department circuits. An alarm is received on circuit 118. A light flashes. The number pops up in the slot below, the bell rings. There are many boxes on this one circuit, but each box has its own number, and this number is simultaneously sounded by the bell and punched out on this recorder. While this is being done, one man checks a card file, which immediately designates the location of the box and the companies that are required to respond to a first alarm at that box. The switchboard operator alerts the companies involved. The bell rings and lights go on in the affected firehouses. Here, Senior Fire Dispatcher Edward Grimm sets up the code number of the box on a transmitter and sends it to all firehouses in the city. Only 30 to 35 seconds have elapsed, and units already have left their stations. The radio man establishes quick contact, and if more information on the alarm is available, this is passed on to the responding units. In case of a phone call, and this is the way 2 out of 3 alarms are received, the operator takes the call and asks for the location of the fire. The operator repeats the information to the caller in a loud voice so that it may be heard by the fire dispatcher. The dispatcher immediately checks a large map in front of him on which all fire boxes in the city are designated. When the nearest box has been determined, the corresponding card is pulled and the first alarm units are alerted. A general transmission to all fire units in the city follows. If the incoming call concerns a heart attack or a situation of a special nature, the dispatcher decides on the action to be taken, and this information is telephoned to the proper units on the fire department's special telephone circuit, or is radioed to the units if they're returning from another run. All telephone conversations which take place with the communications center are recorded. This provides verification of all calls, the action that was taken, and the elapsed time. Now let's visit a place where alarms bring men into fast action. We selected the fire station on Alexandrine, just off Cass, a building which houses Engine 5, Ladder 20, and Squad 2. We received permission to ride with Squad 2. And while waiting for a run, our Channel 2 camera observed the activity at the station. There are a total of 88 land companies in the Detroit Fire Department. These consist of 51 engines, 29 ladder trucks, 7 squads, and 1 boat tender. The department is responsible for providing protection of people and property located in the 139.6 square miles of the city. The department has reciprocal agreements with 11 adjacent communities. During our stay with the men at Engine House 5, we found that firemen are good cooks. The men buy their own food and recreational equipment. Talk concerns topics of the day. They show school groups through the station house and completely baffle the visitor when they try to explain the formula they use in determining their Kelly days, their days off. Things are quiet and relaxed until the alarm sounds. From this second-floor recreation area, the men head for the pole. Within seconds, the units are off and running. We're riding here with Squad 2. The raincoats, boots, helmets, smoke masks, and other equipment are kept aboard the rig. Firemen slip into this equipment as the rig speeds to the fire. The lieutenant next to the driver is in radio contact with the communications center. We arrive at our destination. The firemen pile up. Other units located closer to the scene have already arrived. It soon becomes evident that the fire did not become serious in nature. The blaze was extinguished quickly, and the fire fitted into a category the firemen call careless cook. The units pick up their men and equipment and return to their respective stations. Now, another run. The men are on their way. And what do they think about at a time like this?
I think everything's pretty exciting going to it. I don't know, a challenge. You never know what you're going to expect or what you're going to run into. It's how would you handle a different situation once you got there, or what would you do? Maybe just sometimes holding just a false alarm.
What do you think about on the way to a fire?
Location, how to get. I'm fairly new here in this district, and it's a little bit difficult catching on, but the captain there knows it pretty well. He's the one I depend on.
What do you think about on the way to a fire?
How I will conduct myself when I get there. How I will conduct my men, tell them what to do, depending on what I find there.
We've arrived at 3rd and West Lafayette. The situation is under control there, but the radio becomes active. It directs Squad 2. Proceed immediately to an automobile accident, which has occurred on the Lodge Expressway at the 4th Street underpass. Squad 1 is also there, and the occupant of the car is put aboard an ambulance. The driver had been pinned in the car, and the squads were called upon to free him. The squad is the workhorse of the fire department. It responds to many emergencies other than fire. But now let's travel aboard a ladder truck. Engines and ladder trucks respond to all fires. The number of ladder trucks responding is usually determined by the location of the alarm. An alarm at a public building will bring out a minimum of 2 ladders on first alarm. They'll accompany 3 engines, 2 squads, and a battalion chief. The chief responds to every fire alarm. The city is divided into 11 battalions, and the battalion chief is on duty at all times. When arriving at a fire, the chief is in charge of all firefighting operations. It's up to him to decide if an extra alarm should be sounded to bring additional men and equipment. Here are scenes from some recent multiple alarm fires in Detroit and answers to the question, why did you become a fireman?
Well, I never really thought of becoming a fireman until at the time in 1941 I was working at the Cadillac Motor Car Company, and 2 of my co-workers came up to me one day and said they were going down and take the civil service exam for the fire departments, and why not come along? So I decided I'll go and try it. And out of the 3 of us, I was the only one that passed the physical examination.
Everything is different. The people that you meet, there's an opportunity to help your fellow man here, and at the same time you have a job that you enjoy.
Well, as a boy, I was always interested in the fire department itself. It always appealed to me as a good profession, in the sense that you're doing something a little different, and you're helping.
Well, I sort of followed my dad's footsteps. He's a battalion chief, and I think it's pretty interesting work.
Did you always want to be a fireman?
More or less, I think I did. Now that I've been on, I think I really enjoy it now, more than I thought I would before. But it's a wonderful job. You can't beat it.
Well, I think we went back to the service. We had a little firefighter training in the service, and I sort of got interested in it. It's very interesting.
Did the excitement lure you to this job?
Oh, definitely. You know, I think that's why I took the driver's job. I like driving, and you get your excitement up there, too.
We live in a city along a major river, and this creates the need for a fireboat. This is the John Kendall, which protects 25 miles of shoreline. It pumps 16,000 gallons of water a minute. The crew includes a fire captain, 2 firefighters, a ship's master, 2 engineers, and 2 boiler operators. And the fireboat can pump water into land fire mains in an emergency. Nearly 100% of Detroit firefighters are members of the Detroit Firefighters Association, which was established in 1933. The association is concerned with working conditions and maintaining a high degree of skill among its firefighting members. The president is Bob Tye. Only yesterday morning, fire broke out in a large midtown building, the Argonaut building on Milwaukee behind the GM building. 2,500 persons were ordered evacuated. I talked with Fire Chief Glenn Fromm. As soon as it was determined there was a fire in a large building, what procedures did the fire department follow?
In this case here, the chief and the battalion, on responding, noticed the fire having started in the basement and up through the pipe shaft to the roof. He immediately sounded a second alarm for additional help. On the first alarm assignment, we had 3 engines, 2 ladder companies, a squad, and a chief. The fire started up, and it was breaking out, and it looked like it was a roof fire to begin with, but of course it was the flames shooting out of the ductwork, which was on fire. So he sounded the second alarm for the additional help to work with him to extinguish the fire before it had a chance to spread into the fan room up on the top floor. In this case here, the pipe shaft was enclosed. There was no danger of the fire spreading to any of the floors. Take a building that's older than this, you always have that potential of a fire spreading to the other floors. This had fire doors separating it. It could have, of course, extended throughout the basement and throughout the roof area, which in itself would have been a very bad thing. The boys got in there real quick and put the fire out.
Tonight we've introduced you to the Detroit Fire Department in action. In our association of the past several days, we've renewed our respect for the department and the men in it. Perhaps you will do the same. Thank you, and good night.